And we are live, woman.
Oh, look.
We are live on YouTube. Peace and blessings, everybody out there. How y'all doing?
Everybody.
Y'all doing good out there? How are you doing, woman?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I sort of woke up a little tired a little bit, but I'm doing good.
That's good. That's good. Are you happy with your husband today? Because I know we got some.
I'm very happy with you, but
Let
you were.
me finish. We got some tumultuous. I'm not done phrasing my question.
Okay, go ahead. Phrase it
We got
over.
a tumultuous topic to talk about today.
Oh Lord.
So I need to make sure my wife is good with me.
So you don't have no after effects.
Right. So are you good with your husband today?
Yes, I'm always good with you.
Are you
We're
sure?
not always happy, but no, I'm good with you.
Okay. You're not always happy. What?
Well, I mean, we had to go through times where it's
You ain't happy. You ain't happy with your man.
But I'm always usually happy with you. I might be like angry, might be like upset or something, but no.
You might be upset or
I'm
something.
sorry, but yeah, no. So yeah, I'm happy with you though.
Okay.
You was rushing me
Yeah, I gotta rush you.
for the live.
Oh, that's your phone going off.
and stuff. No, my phone ain't going on.
Yeah, it did. You just
Sorry.
got notifications in.
The Instagram, my bad.
But let's walk it back just a little bit. I'm Robert. This is Kyra, and we are Evenly Yoked Television. I'm Robert.
This is Kyra.
Lord Jesus. Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
We be going through too, y'all. We got things we got to work on.
Don't
too.
we all?
And some of us may be perfect. Some of us may be perfect, but others
Really?
of us got things that we need to work on, like being more, or a little less unruly, if you will.
Isn't that what they say? When someone thinks they're perfect, that's the main imperfection.
Anyway, you guys.
Just say it.
I'm Robert. This is Kyra, and we're Evenly Yoked Television.
Yes, we are.
And today we're going to start it. We're talking about Tyrese, but we're going to start it off talking about with a little bit of levity, as we usually do, but only a little bit because
I haven't seen
because this is
Tyrese.
a long video that we're going to be looking at today.
Can't wait to see this. I haven't seen the Tyrese.
So you guys check this one out. I thought this was funny. Check this out.
I don't know if I've seen this one either. Oh, look at that.
She bought Side City coming. She wasn't on a gun, she wasn't on a winner.
My bad, y'all. Let me go back. Before I get a strike on it. Will you take off his jacket? Yeah, I like that.
Give him some nice
take
shoes.
his shoes
There you
off.
go.
Put some slides on.
Okay, see, now he's really ready.
What?
There we go.
They had him set up too.
Yeah, now he's really ready.
Drop right down to your knees when they come in the door. He was set up too. He almost looked like he was about to be happy right there. Look at that. Take his jacket off. Look like he just came from the gym.
He was waiting on the next.
And now he got to go curl the.
See,
curl
and
the
he
mop.
knew. Amen. He knew. Got right into position.
And look, never mind. I take that back. Look at his face. He don't look happy. He know what's about to happen.
No,
Woman
he
about
does.
to put a cleaning utensil in his hand instead of get him right.
A family that cleans together stays together.
What do you think, woman? You think that's how you supposed to act?
Yeah.
Or that come across a little unruly to me too.
No, yeah. That's why I don't come to the door and give you your shoes. But if you notice, I do always try to leave your slides out. Either, the ones that you wear in the house at our door. I leave them out there for you, right there. At our bedroom door.
That is hilarious. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive straight into this interview. I guess it was on Swayze.
But I really like the way I should have the broom and stuff sitting at the front door.
You don't got to worry about that. This broom gonna sit right there. that broom gonna sit right there, and you know that. And right there till you come back and get it and start using it. Because that's how it's supposed to be.
Where does it say that in the Bible? Somebody help us.
It say that all in the Bible.
Or where does it say that? She cleans. As Pastor Darius Daniel says, nowhere in the Bible does it say she cooks, she cleans.
Yeah, right, but it say that you're supposed to be submissive to your husband, right? And if your husband told you to clean, that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Yes, and the husband is supposed to know what works best in the household. And delegate
I do.
Those way, yeah, it works best that he don't clean.
I know exactly how it works best. You clean better, you cook better, so you get your behind in the kitchen and in the house and do it. See how easy that is? Well, let's say, for instance, Okay, we never divulged this information before, but
okay.
But I'm a better worker.
Yes, you are.
I work better, so I go out and collect. I go out and collect the bacon, and then I bring it to the house.
Yeah. You're a better provider. On somebody else's job, and provider.
It doesn't matter what kind of provision you want to be talking about.
You're better.
I'm the best at it.
Yeah, you are.
But it's a man's job to lead and dictate his family to the direction they're supposed to be going to achieve all their goals as a family.
Correct.
So if I'm telling you that, hey, the best thing for you to do is to clean up and to cook me some food, and that's what direction we need to go on.
Did you hear that? And cook me some food.
Yeah. Yeah, don't that make sense?
Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all chime in.
Don't that make sense?
I'm gonna sit back because this is the life.
So you don't want to say what you really think live, but it's the truth. It's just
I said this is the life. The life.
The life. Okay, well that makes sense because it's absolutely true, and that's exactly how things are supposed to be.
Is that I'm supposed to clean?
No, you're supposed to do what your husband. You're supposed to do what your husband tell you to do. That's what you're supposed to do.
No, okay, hold on. Back up, Steve.
It's just like that. Since you want to talk biblical,
no. What you tell me to do.
Man submit to God. Yes. Woman submit to man. Children
to husband. That is.
Yes, but we're talking about how the order is supposed to go as it is, and the children submit to woman. Woman run the whole house, but the man tell you how you run the whole house.
How you run? Yes. Yes. But you have to make sure, as a man, that what you are telling your wife and how you are directing your family is not from a power struck or egotistical or prideful way. It should be from the way of, hey, this is what will work best. If my wife needs me to help out in this way or that way, or I need her to help out here, then that's what we do to make it work. Correct?
Right.
Isn't that what we do?
So that advice is for all the other guys out there, right? Because there is no issues with that here. I have no issues with leadership.
Right. So you don't clean sometimes, honey? You won't clean?
I clean
Let me
when
ask
it's
you,
necessary.
let's ask you, will you clean, honey?
Absolutely, when it's necessary.
Okay.
When it's necessary. Now, we supposed to be talking about Tyrese, but it looks like we're about to be talking about you and me.
Something else, y'all. Because, I admit, when we first got with him, his mama said this was the first time she had seen him vacuum was when I was coming over. That should have been a sign.
Nah, I don't know where you or my mother would have got that.
That should have been a sign.
My mother had me vacuuming all the time. I don't want to hear that. All the time. That's not
what she said.
Well, that's how I knew how to do it. So that's just a testament to. Okay, camera was autofocusing, but that's just a testament to. I hate to speak about my mother and my wife this way, but to the delusion of some females.
The two women at certain times.
Two women I love the most, but you guys, like my mom. Do it even make any sense for my mom to tell you that it's the first time she seen me vacuum when she the one that taught me how to vacuum?
Yes, she taught you and raised you how to do that, but that don't mean you did it.
She taught me how to do it
in your room.
She taught me how to do it. I know what I was doing.
Okay, we're going to ask Papa too.
I know how to do it now.
They were all surprised that he had vacuumed this room when I was coming over.
That didn't mean I did it all the time, but I did it and I know how to do it. But it don't make no sense for my mom to say that because she the one that taught me how to do it.
She said it.
Whatever, you guys. Hey, let's go ahead and dive into Tyrese because we're not supposed to be talking about Kyra and Robert drama. We're supposed to be talking about the Tyrese's troublesome situation, not evenly yoked troublesome situation. All right, Tyrese.
My husband is the alpha male.
In order to hit the reset button on your marriage, sit down, pause, pour into your family, pour into your marriage. Nothing else matters. If you try and make something else matter, I took it all away.
Mm-hmm. He's talking about COVID.
Rest, sleep, situation. No flights, no travel, no grind, no nothing. Right here. Then, after 10 months of date night, sex, love, magic, reset button, rest, recovery, restoration, everything. We get on our first flight back to Atlanta where I live. I arrive 6 a.m. in the morning, Father's Day. God put it on my heart to do music again. Since I had been with Samantha, she's never seen me get into music mode. She married.
And thank God that God put that on your heart, because boy, we need some great R&B music. He was saying that God put it on his heart to get back into music again.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear about that.
You remember when he did that Black Rose album?
That was good.
It was supposed to be the last one he was going to do. He was retired, going into Denzel mode, as he put it, and start acting. But thank God that God decided to give you an R&B spirit again, because we need you in the R&B world. Tyrese, and the new song you got from this album that you're going to release is fire too. Unfortunately, it's about... Yeah, you've been listening to it. That's the song that I've been playing recently a lot. Unfortunately, it's about your troubled times, but, you know, it is what it is.
Married Denzel Washington. You can't marry Denzel Washington and then file for divorce when he get in character for a movie. You can't marry a basketball player and then divorce him when he gets up at 4 a.m. to go practice. She married a singer. She married a recording artist, a successful one at that. So I get in my zone when it comes to do music. I'm in the house. We're editing. We're writing videos. We got directors there. We did a video that starred my lady, Samantha, as my leading lady, called Black Excellence, featuring Rick Ross. Make sure y'all Google it. Check it out. Directed by Dion Taylor.
Do you love Gantt charts? Here's how easily you can build one in ClickUp.
I'm sorry. Directed by Brad Furman, who directed the Lincoln Lawyer movie with Matthew McConaughey.
Great movie.
We got a real filmmaker to do the short film Black Excellence. So,
yeah, he went all out, went and got professional production and everything, boy.
But then we did another song called Legendary, featuring CeeLo Green, dedicated to George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, and Eric Garner. So I'm in my zone for 3-4 weeks, recording, editing, casting, location scouting, managing crews, COVID testing, under a lot of fucking pressure. And my wife knew everything every step of the way, because I wasn't on location working. I brought all this energy home. So one night, as I was on my way to the basement for another editing session, she stops me in the kitchen. I'm moving. She said, baby, I said, what's going on?
Okay. So now he's being very theatrical, giving us this whole rundown. And so, at least his rundown. And so, all of this here, this is the reason why negativity...
Why they're going through?
Yeah, just this. Okay.
Well, I don't think it's just this. You know, he's going to further discuss it a little bit more. But,
okay.
But it's not just this. But I do think that it's this stuff that he's saying now that kind of sets up how I believe he actually acts in his relationship. He comes across to me as somebody who knows how to aggrandize themselves in the public. You know, kind of like them pastors used to do when they be up in that pulpit hooping and hollering.
Yeah,
and
I'm thinking about
they the light of the world up there.
Thinking about Aretha's daddy.
Right, but then when you get back home, you a hoe out in the streets.
Hell on wheels.
Hell on wheels, as my wife describes it. But you know, I'm not to cast aspersions on this man. I mean, he may or may not be doing that, but that's just how it comes across to me.
Yeah. I just want to say, so this.
I don't think it's just this one.
Okay,
thing.
yeah.
But he's just unfolding it. It's a 50-minute video. That hopefully we don't got to watch the whole thing. We might have to speed it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
She said, I said, babe, they waiting on me downstairs. What's happening? She says, are you not attracted to me anymore? I looked at her and I said, baby, what are you talking about? You can't question what's going on and how much stress I'm under and all that I'm carrying. First of all, I'm about to release a video that has 4 people that passed away. I'm more concerned about the backlash that might come if I don't get this right. George Floyd, Eric Garner, Trayvon, and Breonna. Most people was doing videos trying to shed light on just George Floyd. I put 4 in there. The song is called Legendary, featuring CeeLo Green. Look at the video. And so instead of me having...
There's a quote, I can't remember who said it, but someone said once that you will only be able to be as successful as your wife allows you to be.
That's true.
And then there was another quote that says something along the lines of, when you focus on, if you focus on your passion, or if you focus on your work, then your wife will assume that the work is another woman.
Yeah,
and that's how they treat it. That's why she would say something like, do you not find me beautiful no more when you're up here working for her? That's one thing that men, we typically don't understand very well, is that we get in these modes where we have intense drive and stuff like that, where we're laser focused on something, and we rationalize it in our mind that we're doing this for our family, so there shouldn't be no other problems. We're doing this for this woman, so why is she coming to me and talking to me like I'm neglecting her? But that's just not the way that women see it. I think it's wrong that they act like that, but it's just their nature. It's not really something that I believe that they can really control that way. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so it's interesting because Pastor Darius Daniels was just talking about this in his sermon, and he was giving about how who was it, Joseph? Yeah, the one his brother sent him away, right. So Joseph was in the palace, right, and he was doing real good, and the Pharaoh that he was under, he was working real hard and everything like that, and so his wife began to have eyes for Joseph, and Joseph was like, nah, and he ran away, but she grabbed his coat. The story about his coat falling off of him and him being naked and everything like that. So what Pastor Darius was saying was that a lot of times men, when you're working so hard and you're putting your attention over there, you forget that you have this wife over here, or you have this where your attention is also supposed to be, because you're focusing on this and you think she know, and she'll never, and that'll never happen. But then it will if you don't give that its due attention as well. Yes, she was the Pharaoh's wife and she was in love with him, but because there was not the attention that needed to be put there as well, while he was, grinding and focusing on something hard, she sort of slipped away into another man, that was there giving attention, that, that did have the time. So I think they're both right. I think us as women, we have to understand that, hey, he still loves me, and the way he's showing me he loves me is by doing what he's doing. Mm-hmm. But I think men, too, have to understand that, okay, I'm doing this here for her, but I got to make sure that she knows that it's for her. Mm-hmm. And I can't have all of my attention there. I have to do certain things, like I think what we're saying, like the check-ins or the, you can't neglect, because things that are neglected, they eventually will walk away, or they won't grow. It's just like a garden. If you neglect the garden, it's not gonna grow.
Well, I get that point, but I disagree like wholeheartedly, because I think that it would be different if I would just start, like, let's say for instance, if I start doing a lot of overtime or something like that. If I started doing it and I didn't consult with you first, and we didn't know what we were going into first, we already knew what we were doing, and we communicated like two adults, so that we should not feel like, or at least you should not feel like, as a woman to me, you should not feel like, hey, I'm being neglected. You're not being neglected at all, because everything that we're doing, we already discussed, and we already understand that this is what we're doing for our household. So in my opinion, it shouldn't be that way, but that's just how.
But let me ask you this.
Act.
But no.
It is how y'all act.
Let me just ask you this though: did we not discuss when we first got married certain things that's when we were at the altar or wherever we were that says, and things that we believe that we said we're going to be there to love and cherish one another.
Well, that's what everyone.
No, hold on. Everyone's love language
is
different.
But when we go down the rabbit hole,
I think this is the thing that men have to understand, is that
you can't communicate with your woman.
No, you can't communicate with her
like an adult, because if you were at work and you were communicating with your boss, then you wouldn't act like that.
He can interrupt me, y'all.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but go ahead, woman. But you wouldn't act like that if it was your boss. This is what I'm
saying, though. Well, because I'm not loving my boss.
No, you just do what he tell you to do.
Right, but I'm not loving my boss. I'm not intimate with my boss. I don't want to be friends with my boss.
To me, it should be easier to do what your husband say do, because you love him, like you said, right?
But it should be easy for the husband to also say, hey, when we agree upon, hey, he's going to be making these songs 24/7, he has to understand that he is not giving her daily attention. Okay? And so if he's not giving her like consistent, like they're going out doing everything they would do all the time, they also have to talk about what she wants. Hey, I'm going to need us to like once a week take a break. Or I'm going to need us to da-da-da-da. So yes, as adults they should talk about that. Mm-hmm. And then that should be put in there. I think this is what, because Pastor Darius was saying, he was like, no, I need to save this for made men, because you men got to understand. I'll try to find the clip. It was on Sunday service. But he made a good point. He's just saying, and it's true, that you can't go grind after something so hard and not love on and not pay attention to what's there or what the reason is why you're grinding. Because if you lost everything that you were grinding for, she would still be there if she's a real one. But she shouldn't feel like that's her love language. She shouldn't feel like she's not being paid attention to, because then let's say she didn't care, and then you start like, okay, you don't, what's wrong? Just getting taken care of somewhere else? Well, yeah, maybe. I'm letting you work. I'm keeping the house, keeping the kids. You good? You working? You do what you're doing. But yeah, when you gone, I'm out here having lunch with this guy that's talking to me.
But the problem,
so we're good.
The problem with that, again, is that you have discussions before you start doing these things.
Right. So like I said, the discussion for her to say she needs your time needs to be.
But you don't say that when you're going into grind mode. You don't say, hey, well, I still need the same level of attention as I had when we weren't in grind mode.
Maybe like, not the same. I said not the same level, but it needs to be
every
said.
Every area of marriage requires sacrifice. Sacrifice meaning that something is going to be in lack in order for you to gain something greater. So if you're gonna commit to that, for instance, like if you said, hey, you know, I'm gonna be doing X, Y, and Z, so it probably ain't gonna be no sex for 2 weeks. And I say, okay, that's cool. If I say, okay, that's cool, then in 1 week, if I tell you, hey, well, you know, you really ain't been, you know, trying to have sex with me, that's wrong.
Yeah, but
it's wrong.
It needs to be.
It's wrong because I'm a grown up.
It needs to be
and
addressed.
I agreed to something.
Right.
I'm a grown up.
Right.
I agreed to something. I should be able to uphold it.
Right, but that's the thing, is that a lot of times it's y'all just, a lot of men, y'all don't even pay attention to the fact that yes, she wants your time and attention, and your kids want your time and attention too, and you like, it's just some things like should just be known. Like, it should be known that you need to give time and attention there too while you're grinding. Like, it's almost like idiotic to believe, you know, as a man, that you shouldn't. Now, is she wrong for, more than likely, if she stopped him here, it wasn't the first time. Let's be real. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the first time.
Okay.
But she stopped him in the middle of that because maybe for one, she don't know how to communicate effectively. Maybe she hasn't communicated it. But for two, he probably didn't listen any other time. And then the thing about things having to lack, really there's no such thing, like we talked about balance. There's no such thing as balance, right? There's no such thing as balance. Mm-hmm. But what gives you, it's about being stable. So everything should be stable. You know, there's certain things you should just do. Like every morning you should wake up and have your routine. And I guarantee you, if every morning you have a routine where, hey, I'm touching you, or we're here, we're talking, or hey, we got like an hour where we're good, I guarantee you there's probably no issue there. You know, like every morning, you'll wake up, we wake up, and we kiss each other, we say good morning. Mm-hmm. We take time, we stop. Before the day starts, before da-da-da-da, you know, that's a check-in, that's a touch. Now, you know, that's just me. And that's how I think we all need to look at it. But this is probably not the first time with her.
In my opinion, if you communicate things well, of which I'm not sure if he did or not, but if you communicate things well in the beginning, you shouldn't have problems in the interim, but that's just not how things work out. But, you know, maybe we'll clip this part of it up and we'll make a separate account of this one. But we're going to go ahead and dive back into...
Yep, let's hear what the rest of what he's saying.
Tyrese is talking about. What you looking at, woman?
I'm trying to find my clip to make
not on our live stream.
Yeah, I am making my
Being a wife that says, I understand the assignment. I understand what God has put on you, what you're doing on behalf of the movement. She made it about her. I gave you 10 full months of date night and uninterrupted love and magic and energy pouring into my marriage. I was doing this for 3 weeks. So I left town after them videos, which again, one of them featured her as my leading lady. I go to New Jersey to work on my first film. We were arguing about me being busy before I left, which never happened for 10 months. Just happened for 3 weeks. I go to New Jersey to work on this movie. We still arguing. She said, I'm leaving. I said, what do you mean? Because I never heard her say that way. Because we do know the difference. When you mad, saying some shit because you're mad. You know, we all say shit we don't mean we mad. But I heard something different in her voice. And I left my movie set 3 hours before I was supposed to wrap because it was the last flight out. They threatened to sue me for $750,000 because I was supposed to be in all of those scenes. But it was the last direct flight from Jersey to Atlanta. And I said, respectfully, fuck you. Nothing matters more than my family and my marriage. And my wife is telling me she's going to leave me and I need to get home and do whatever it takes to make sure she don't leave me. My daughter was 1 year old at the time. My family is all I had. So as I was in the airplane, she somehow got wind of the fact that I was flying home. She asked 7 people to show up to the house. She covered up the Ring camera with a COVID mask so I didn't see and get any notifications. She grabbed 50 boxes, packed up all of her shit. She took my baby and never came back. So that's the truth. If you're triggered by my truth, I'm sorry. You don't have the stage and the platform to talk about things that's on your mind. She's been all over social media telling people what she's been telling people, playing victim. She does Miracle Mondays. She's trying to create this environment of women that's like, you know, leave your man type of community. But I would tell women, if you're in a marriage, the vows that you took, not to your homie, not to your friends, through thick and thin, for better, for worse, till death do us apart. I'm not dead and she's not dead. So whatever the agenda, the goal, and the mission was, she ain't here no more. And she refused to come back.
You tried to get her back?
Everything.
He said he tried to get her
This
back.
Yeah, he tried
game.
to get her back, but you know, she don't want to.
You're
be
not
back.
ready
so
for it.
She's
whatever,
on Miracle Mondays.
for whatever
Every
reason,
first
you
lady
know,
of every-
this how girls are, you know, a little bit. Y'all feel like, you know, whatever it is was the abusive. That's like if something break off, you see this very commonly. Women is gonna say, "I was abused, I was abused, I was abused, I was abused," and so whatever that abuse is, just like he was saying, what his truth is,
That's his truth.
whatever that term that they describe as abuse, that's their truth. They feel like they was abused by whatever else she was doing. That's what caused her to act like that. Where
Did
she
she
don't want
say
to come back.
she said she was abused?
Doesn't have to. I can guarantee you. I have not watched none of her videos. Well, no, sorry, I watched one, but I can guarantee the abuse word is floating in there. I can guarantee it.
I don't know. I don't think you can. I don't know.
You don't think I can guarantee it? I don't know.
Yeah, she might not have said abuse.
Okay,
but
we're gonna have
I
to
think
pull
it's
it up.
just we'll pull it up, but I think it's just
We're not gonna pull it up
of-
today, but we'll pull it up.
I think it's more of the fact, like, it's a woman that the way he's making it seem like, well, okay, so the way he's making it seem is his truth, and you know he's hurt, he has his pain. That has to be understood too, and like for her to take his baby, that hurt. For her just to leave, that hurt him.
Yeah, he already had one baby took
You
away.
know, yeah, he already had
What
one.
more
took
do
away.
you want from me?
And now another one. But I think so. This was the point that I saw. He said we had already did that for 10 months. This is what I need us to know. Marriage
It's a big mistake.
is not a year, a week, 10 months. It is a lifetime,
Again,
and it's gonna change. Seasons, things will change. Things will lack. Things will grow. You know, but you can't sit there and think that, okay, I gave you all this love for 10 months and now we good. That's not how it works.
Right.
And that's on both sides.
Well, men and women are just a tad bit different in that.
And they are different.
You know, I was once given some advice that said, never, like when you're married, never do anything that you cannot do consistently. And that speaks to a man, because we feel like we can build up equity, and marriage, especially from what I've seen, is more about what have you done for me lately kind of thing. It's not an equity kind of thing. So you can say that, hey, I've been not missing no date nights for 10 months. Let 2 weeks go by, then you're gonna be getting them conversations about why I ain't got no date night.
Right.
And that's just how it worked. But for, like I said, but if it was something like on the reverse end, where a woman was like, we've been doing date night for the last 10 months. And if I had a question about, where the date nights go, then they'd be like, well, we did it consistently for 10 months, and now you say you need about 3 weeks to do something different real quick. Then again, I would be understanding. It's understandable.
You think men just understand?
I do. I don't know about all men. I know about me. I know I'm very understanding as long as things is communicated to me.
Yeah. As long as we're communicative, that's true. I think we have to understand, and I think this is where when people get married, you don't realize it's something you actually have to put work into.
You are, but that doesn't
mean
I'm
that
saying
you're not putting
Tyrese, work into it.
I think Tyrese didn't realize that there's work that has to be put in on a consistent basis.
He did.
Not just for 10 months.
But this is where I have the disagreement at.
He said
is that you act like it's not never coming back.
Not just for 10 months.
But she's acting like it's not never coming back.
This is what I'm telling you.
Based off them 3 weeks.
This is what I'm telling you.
That's what I don't get.
More than likely, and I mean, there's no way she's this petty. There's no. I mean, she could be, but
you don't think so?
No. How long were they married?
I don't. Boy, it don't take much. All you got to do to get the pettiness out of a woman is for her to feel wrong. That's it.
Men are petty too.
Yeah, I'm petty all the time.
All the time.
It don't take no.
Like you.
It don't take for you to make no.
All the time.
It don't take for you to make no mistake. I'm petty
all
the time.
Petty. Okay.
All the time, but that's part of my personality. Now I don't know how all the rest of you men out there are, but I'm just like that.
Yeah, you just petty.
I'm just like that, but
what I'm saying is
there are there's levels to it, and petty and spitefulness will not even reach the level of your petty and spitefulness if I hurt you. I can guarantee it.
Right, but this is the thing: 3 weeks of him working. Okay, I get it. He was at the house. Like I guess being in jury duty has just changed my life together. He's leaving stuff out.
Well,
there's points.
Stuff out. It's only 1%.
Exactly.
It's only one side of the story. Maybe we need to watch some of her videos.
And it's the side that you want people to agree with you.
Everybody
and
does.
And your side. You're not truly, but this the thing. Everybody does, but if you really wanted her back, right? Or if that's what you want, there has to be some accountability. And this whole thing that he did, maybe he does it later. We haven't watched it. But there's not accountability.
He said that he's done things wrong too.
Right, but he
said you say shit you don't mean. He said
after 10 months of y'all, whatever, everything's good. Maybe that was okay when you didn't have anything else you had to go to, and I was just it. This is where you were. But now when you have other things that you have to go to, and I'm still not I'm not getting some of the same effect, that's showing me, okay, I can be put aside. And this is what one woman said: no woman, we need clarity. And we need clarity to know.
I'm going to disagree with that.
No, we need clarity to know that regardless of what you're doing, how you doing, that I'm still first, that I'm still important.
In this situation, I'm going to disagree because unless you're saying you need clarity, like play by play.
No, I need clarity in your actions.
Because like I said, when he went into music making mode, he told her he going into music making mode.
Right.
He told her it's probably going to be 12, 16, 18 hour days.
Right.
He's not. That's clarity. I'm not going to be in your face giving you attention for 18 hours because I'm in music mode.
Right. I'm not asking for you to be in my face, but I'm telling you, more than likely, for her to have pulled him aside after 3 weeks, because that just seems ridiculous to me. Like 3 weeks you working, like, okay, I get it.
That's not ridiculous.
He
pulled over all the time.
More than likely,
we've been there. We've been there before.
Right, but more than likely, he was doing nothing. Mm-hmm. Like all he was doing. He wasn't texting a girl. He wasn't waking up before his day started to put the attention there. Like he wasn't doing none of that. Because when it was 10 months and I was all you had, you couldn't go out the doors. Then all the attention but now
I'll have to disagree
that all this other stuff is something that's coming into play. Mm-hmm. I'm not a major part.
I'm gonna have to disagree with your point because even like
That's cool.
We'll take it a little bit more personally. In our personal situation where we have to do things like this, there go my camera acting up again. When I personally have to do things like go in grind mode and stuff like that, we'll still be maintaining pretty much the same type of communication that we usually do. And yeah, some things will still fall to the wayside, but for the most part, our communication and our attention is the same for the most part. Just not the presence.
For the most part, when you're cognitive, because when we're
you can't have it all.
When we're grinding, so the communication ain't really.
You can't have it all.
No, you can't have it all. But
you can't have it all.
There's certain things that you have to
unplug your doggone mic. You keep moving it around. Tell you to leave that thing alone, girl. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying there's certain things that you have to have. You're
still moving it.
Yeah, I know.
Leave it alone. You unplugged it.
Again?
No.
Okay.
Being unruly.
I'm not being unruly.
You are being unruly.
Say, talk to your wife the right way. I'm just saying I'm trying to move it right.
Unruly. I told you to stop.
I'm not being unruly.
All
no,
right.
there's got to be her concerns or how she acts it wasn't not warranted. Like you got, and this is the thing, you got to see signs.
Mm-hmm.
There's signs,
mm-hmm.
And as you grow in marriage, it's supposed to, you get better.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we were younger and we were probably grinding, it was totally different than now than when we grind.
Mm-hmm.
We do still be, because, and that's the thing, with women, a lot of times, especially when we have children, she has a young child, he got to take all that into consideration too. So with a young child, that's a lot. And a home, but now I don't know, the home is different from them because she probably ain't cooking and cleaning. They probably got somebody doing that. But I'm just saying, it's a lot too. So you want that human touch or that human interaction from your spouse, from that person.
This is the part about male and female communication that I will never understand. I'll never understand this part.
Okay.
It's just simple as that. If I tell you that, hey, I'm going to, even if it was years ago before cell phones and stuff was around, if I tell you that I'm going to be gone for 3 weeks and I'll be back, but I'm going to be coming and I'm going to be bearing gifts. I'd expect to come back and it not be no problems because I just communicated what I was going to do to an adult. If you told me that we could do that, okay, I'll see you when you get back. It shouldn't be when I get back, oh, I've been neglected and, I don't know if you love me no more because you haven't been here to say it every 5 minutes. I just told you 3 weeks ago that I'm going to be gone for 3 weeks.
Yeah, but that's almost like...
I'm never going to understand this.
That's like the dash. The dash, what did you do with the dash? All the in-between. Did you call? Did you text?
Kyra,
you know what I'm saying?
I said, what if it was hundreds of years ago and there ain't no cell phone? If I'd have told you that, even if I tell you that now, if I'm calling, I'm calling you every day.
Right.
You know for a fact that I'd be getting called, but you know that you still gonna be like, well, but you didn't do this or you didn't do that. I was like, okay. Well,
and I think a lot of times, and let me put this into, a lot of times for women, I think what comes up too is all the outside noise. A lot of times with some women, it's the outside noise. It's the what we think y'all want or what we think y'all are thinking. Sometimes we try to do that too much versus just taking what you said. Mm-hmm. Because we're thinking, okay, he's gone for 3 weeks or so. He's needing me. He should be needing me physically.
Well, this is the difference between woman and man is that if I tell you that I'm going to be gone, if I'm sacrificing, I know I'm sacrificing. Mm-hmm. That mean I know I'm not going to be getting I know I ain't going to be getting no booty for the next 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. I know that, so I'm not complaining. Right. That's the difference. Is that you were sitting up here, well, I know he should be complaining, but I've already made it comfortable in my mind that this ain't gonna be how it is, so I'm comfortable. It's just like whenever I fast, I don't be like, well, hell, I'm gonna go ahead and eat anyway. No, I just don't eat, and I get comfortable with the fact that I'm not eating.
Yeah, and maybe that's the difference in men and women. Women, we still have emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, unfortunately, you have to men, y'all have to be taught how to actually tap into that emotion side.
Listen, if I'm sacrificing for something, I don't want to be tapped into the emotional side.
But that's the thing. You still have to, because like as we look at marriages, okay, like for example, as we look at marriages that have been together for years, that we've seen a lot of, sometimes maybe why they're lacking or they're not as good as they are, because they've had years of where they haven't been intentional in the emotional side, in the date nights, in the, hey, let me talk to you and take this time to do this, or, you know, stuff like that from the woman's side. And then from the man's side, it's, hey, but I need this, and she's not giving this because this is what I want to, you know. So I think we have to learn how to tap into that emotion side, because even older marriages that we've seen, they somewhat have lacked or, you know, had a hard time because they haven't been emotionally intentional, you know. And that's from the woman and the man, or the woman saying, I need this or that, but he's always gone and grinding. Like, think about what, 50s, 60s. You know, always, Papa was a Rolling Stone.
But let me
right? No.
Go ahead.
Papa was a Rolling Stone, right? And it was just accepted because Papa was taking care of all the homes. But these women were not. They weren't secure emotionally, and then he rolling around too made it even worse. But he was providing. He was grinding. He was, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That don't. I don't know. I think there's more to the story.
But we ain't finished watching the interview. You know it's more to the story.
Yeah, so, but that's, I don't know. I think you have to emotionally tap in. And I don't think you can.
You can't emotionally tap in when you
and I don't think you can fault the woman for having certain needs, just as you as a man have certain needs.
I don't fault you for having needs. I fault you for not being grown enough to understand sacrifice is what I do.
Yeah, but some things should not be sacrificed, and I think that's the problem.
What do you mean they shouldn't be sacrificed?
Your love, your intention should not be sacrificed.
So let me show you something. For instance, like if a woman is on her period or whatever, like you don't think that sometimes people don't feel like you need to be sexual with your husband at that time, right?
True.
So that shouldn't be sacrificed then, right?
Right. Well, I get that, but that's where you have to
Then you should be doing something to compensate then, right?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah,
because if you can't give up the bottom, maybe you should come off the top.
Right. Yeah.
If that's the case, right?
Yeah.
Because if you expect your husband to be an adult, like let's say if you're going through too much with your medical condition of your period, right?
Right.
Then your husband, you should be able to communicate. Hey, now's not a good time. Could you just, And then if your husband be like, okay, cool, and then he sacrificed. It don't be no, hey, well, I'm still, come on now, I don't care about your period and all that. It's not that, and that's how it shouldn't be that from the other end either. It shouldn't be that. It should be, hey, when you call your husband, if you having those emotions, it should really be, hey, I've been missing you a little bit, but I'm good. I know we said what we're doing. I just wanted to let you know I've been missing you. In no way. That's all it should be. That's all it should ever be when you're sacrificing.
In no way what he's saying, should that have ended in divorce. What he's saying, his story, should it have ended in divorce? No.
Okay. Well, that's good. We'll stop right there. Let's cover some more of this before we already been on the game for about an hour now.
Look, y'all, we getting deep. Sorry.
No, it's all good. We're gonna use all of that. We're gonna have to speed Tyrese up a little bit though.
Every church you can think of. Taffy Dollar, Creflo Dollar's wife, Aventer Gray. This is what's crazy. Let me give y'all this. I ain't never told nobody this. So Aventer Gray and Pastor John Gray, who I love to this day, two of my favorite people. He got caught having an emotional affair. Never had sex with any other women. A woman, he just had an emotional affair, which is also wrong. And he repented. His wife forgave him. But when his wife, listen this way. This shit will rip you up. Samantha arranged for a therapy session with Aventer Gray at my house the day she left me. She was in Samantha's office doing a therapy session because Aventer was on the brink of leaving her husband. So she said, you can't leave your husband. So she arranged a therapy session at my house with Aventer Gray in her office with Samantha's therapist. So when Aventer Gray walked out of her therapy session on the brink of leaving her husband, Samantha said, you can't leave your husband, and arranged a 4-hour therapy session with Aventer in Sam's office. Aventer Gray came out of the fucking therapy session. I got Bumblebee in my foyer in Atlanta. There was 50 boxes in the foyer. And Aventer said, what's going on? She said, I'm just grabbing a couple of things. You know, we going through some stuff. She's like, you're not leaving your husband, right? She's like, no, we just gonna take a little break. So whatever she needed to say in that moment to make Aventer feel like we just grabbing a couple of things to calm her down, because obviously if you're going out of your way to stop me from leaving my husband, I'm not gonna leave out of the therapy session and be okay with you leaving yours.
His wife?
She did whatever she could do to get Aventer to pull off and leave. She left her husband and never came back. Imagine that.
That now, if that's true, that is wild.
What did he say now?
Essentially, all he was saying was that, you know, he arranged for Mrs. Gray to meet up with her own therapist and trying to encourage her to stay with her husband.
Yeah, his wife did that.
Right. Yeah. That's what Tyrese's wife did for the Gray family. And then, you know, she was given every excuse in the world as to what she was doing, and then she got Miss Gray up out of her house, and then she bounced on Tyrese.
She got Miss Gray out her house?
Yeah, when she got Miss Gray out her house after the therapy session, after convincing her to stay with her husband, then Tyrese's wife left her husband. Tyrese's wife left him. That's cool.
So all this was going on around the same time. I don't know if I remember. Okay.
Imagine that. Talking about 6 degrees of separation. I'm gonna stop you from leaving your husband at my house. And when you come out of your therapy session to stop you from leaving your husband, you're gonna walk in on the 50 boxes of me leaving my husband. While I was in the airplane on my way home to try and save my marriage. To all of the ladies out there, I'm gonna say this, not on behalf of being a simp or being an empath. It's like, yo, go easy, man. You know, women, it's feminism out here, man. This women's group, man. Even if you say the worst shit ever about your truth, people are gonna always see things through the lens of a woman. You should, if that's what you want. But you're not gonna stop me from telling my truth. I'm on fire. I am a walking, breathing time bomb. I'm on fire. Now, I've moved on. Okay. Right. I've been in a relationship for 2 years, but love of my life, Zelly. But I want to say to all of the women out there who called her a side chick, a Band-Aid, a rebound, soon as y'all get through a couple of months, he's going to chuck her away. She's disposable and go back to Sam. Zelly is still in the building. And more importantly, Zelly never asked to be here. She left her husband and never came back.
Talking about his,
Zelly was fresh out of a relationship, and I was too. I wanted to be married for the rest of my life.
Yeah, he's talking about his new lady now. His new lady, I guess she was going through something. He was going through something. They got together, and they've been lasting for a little while now. Inconsequential.
So before y'all come at my girl, just understand she was out living her best life. There was Tyrese Gibson, Samantha Gibson, and Soraya Gibson. We were very married. She left her husband. What y'all want me to jack off on Pornhub every day and wait on her to come home?
I'm Goldie. This is my club. I run shit. Flattery will.
I'm a grown ass man, dog. And guess what? Here's my last thing in closing. Stop projecting and gaslighting. Telling me what I should and shouldn't do. You know, you Instagram therapists. Y'all are amazing. I'm one of them. I was going to say to you. I give out a whole lot of advice that ain't nobody, nobody asked you for all that. Nobody needed you to overshare and go into all that. Truth is, why don't you heal? Spend some time alone. Recommit your life to Christ and heal instead of you rushing right into something else. You know, it's not in everybody's cards to be alone after you go through a painful breakup. Some people should not be alone. If you could go celibate, if you can, put on those celibate panties and put your drawers and put your PP in some boxer briefs and never pull it out for 2 year pause. If you can go 2-3 years and be celibate and be alone, and that's a part of your process of recovering, then that's your process. Don't project your process off onto somebody else. I did not need to be alone.
I should say most people, you should learn how to be alone, but 2 or 3 years alone without having none is probably a little bit. It's pretty long. I doubt he was going probably about 3 weeks without getting none though. But
right, yeah. The only thing is, don't be, when you're not healed, don't be using other people. That's the only thing.
And I knew specifically that wherever this woman came from, because she never asked to be here, I looked at her and I said, God sent me this woman because I'm laughing, I'm flirting, I got butterflies in my stomach, I'm in love with this woman, best sex I ever had, best chemistry of any woman of any vibe, and I'm not saying these things despite Sam. I'm not with Zelly despite Sam. Zelly never asked to be here. But I don't think you ever loved me. I don't think you ever loved me. Because if you did, it wouldn't be that easy to leave and never come back. So you motherfuckers can do whatever you want to do with my truth.
So now
but I'm going to tell my truth. And she's running around as the victimizer playing victim, telling her truth. And she's got her fans and she's doing her podcast and her interviews. And I wish her well. But she's going to get this work. Because I'm very vocal and outspoken about my shit. I got a double album called Beautiful Pain. And my single is entitled I Don't Think You Ever Loved Me, featuring Lenny Kravitz and Lee.
Fantastic song, by the way.
Yeah.
Andrea Johnson. And I'd like to play the song right now.
You want to play it right now?
I want to play it right now so that we can talk. And I'm going to shut up when we come back from the song. But since I really broke everything down, I don't want y'all to just hear the song. I want y'all to hear my heart. I want y'all to understand that this is a song that I never wanted to release. These are feelings that I never wanted to express in a song. And this is a double album that I wish belonged to somebody else. And you motherfuckers would be lucky if I even finished this album. Because it takes me at least 8 days to recover after I record each song. Because I can't read. Fuck, I'm singing. Yeah. You're a singer. Just get in the vocal booth. Motherfucker, it's my life. Yeah. This shit is hard. Imagine losing a child.
So she
and then
just
having to
recently said that initially she preferred Paul Walker. He wasn't my type at all, Zelly said of Tyrese.
Oh, okay. I don't know, boo. We're talking about this situation.
Yeah, I know. I'm just, we're
getting off track.
No,
we're off track, baby.
Okay, baby, go ahead. I just
a whole album about losing a child. You think that's an easy song to do or an easy album to do? I didn't lose a child, and God bless the people that have. Even if you can sing, you think it's easy to go to the studio and sing about some shit like that? Oh, you're a singer. Just motherfucker, this is my life. I'm living this shit every day. So whether you like my song or not, whether you spit. Okay. So there's a lot of titles on this album that's posing questions because I have them. Mm-hmm. So let's just say it was all my fault. Let's say whatever I said, whatever I did, however I said it, however I did it. Let's imagine that it was all my fault. I'll take 100% of the blame. I don't even know what I'm to blame for. I don't know what I actually said or did. And more importantly, you would expect how abrasive and how aggressive her departure was, which left me there just like pulling out my little human calculator. I'm pretty smart. I'm like, okay, we argued about that. Never said that. Remember she said that? Okay, we made up. Premarital counseling. Creflo Dollar was our premarital counselor.
You said what? You said slow it down? Mm-hmm. You can't hear what they're saying?
No.
Because you're looking at your phone instead of being in our street.
No, I am.
That's when he said, he literally dropped his book. He said, man, I ain't got nothing to do here. He's like, you would be surprised how many people call themselves falling in love and wanting to get married, and they don't even know each other. Every question I ask y'all have already talked about it. Full transparency, unpacked it all. Y'all have done all the work. Y'all have done more work than most people that are actually married, pertaining to understanding who y'all are and what journey y'all about to take. And Creflo literally had his book, legs was crossed, dropped the book in the middle of our therapy session, and said, I ain't got nothing to do here. So I can say this. This is my best answer until she decides I love you enough to tell you why I left. What you said and what you did that made me say I was out. It was not easy to wake up on September 11th to child abuse claims from my crazy-ass ex-baby mama. And then they took my daughter away from me for 100 days. No calls, no contact. Then, obviously...
You should never take the child away from the man, too. That is very
that's wrong.
effed up.
Yeah, that's wrong. Because you do that to... It's like pushing buttons. That's not cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like that.
To take your child away from you with knowing... I spanked her with my right hand, directly on top of her butt, on top of her pants. No bruises, no marks, no aggression. And it was only the second time I ever spanked her in 13 years at the time. Second time. So to have my baby taken away from me for 100 days, no calls, no contact.
First child, right?
And then after depositions and a full trial, including my ex-wife, meaning Sam, 100% exonerated. Nothing about anything she said on any aspect of what she said checked out. And it wasn't because I could afford a lawyer. I didn't do it. And there was nothing about what this woman accused me of that was true. So here we are, 1 full year of being married, up there with the Care Bears, love, bliss, butterflies in our stomach. We knew that this is what we wanted to do for the rest of our life. And my ex, like a witch, at home with a Shriner. Oh, you happy, huh, you motherfucker? Child abuse claims. Can you imagine the vibrations in my marriage and how fucked up it became? Okay. Because now we're fighting and arguing and trying to figure out something that we never asked for, never seen coming. And of all days, I was accused of this shit on September 11th. Y'all know the significance of September 11th? My marriage got...
Yeah, he's talking about his first child now.
Yeah, he's talking about his first child.
And that first baby mama. She was being crazy to him, then.
Yeah, but he said then the ex did something about that. Mm-hmm. His most recent baby mama?
No, his ex was pouring poison in his marriage.
Oh, to Samantha.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So he's talking about the situation that they were going through that might have been part of what contributed to how they eventually wound up feeling.
So in the ashes, here we are trying to figure out how to create better vibrations and magic.
That I 1,000% agree with. You know, most times people don't vet at all, which is the big problem. But according to what he's saying about how they went through marriage counseling and all of that with Creflo Dollar of all people. But hey, at least they did it.
At least they did it.
At least they did it.
Him and his wife's still together.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Well, they did bet, but you got to bet better.
You got to bet better.
You got to do it better.
That's what we say.
My marriage that was ripped out from my ex, and not only was I 100% exonerated, when I finally got custody of my baby back, they ended up having 2 months of monitored visits over me and Sam in order for me to see my child. They never sent the monitored visits over to the motherfucker who accused me of some shit I didn't do. She needed to be monitored. So now we got monitored visits for 3 months after I finally got custody of my baby back. After 100 days, no calls, no contact. Man, I travel and I move all the time. I'm used to being away from my baby. But to take my baby away for 100 days? Yeah. Oh, I was fucking miserable. So then the psychiatrist says, here's some psych meds that'll help stabilize your mood. Because you barely sleep and you stress the fuck out. Your firstborn was taken from you. So they gave me these psych meds. What did they give me? They gave me some psych meds called Rexulti.
Hey y'all, be very careful taking these medications. They have like ridiculous side effects. Like a lot of times you see these people, these actors, and you're like, oh, they was real happy people, but they're taking psychotic medications, and a lot of times they have side effects such as suicide and stuff like that. You guys have got to be careful with what you put in your body.
Fucked me up. I was up there with the Care Bears for real.
As Tyrese is about to explain what he was going through on the
sounds like,
yeah. What more do you want from me, says Mr. Gibson. That was in that moment.
Y'all familiar with that viral situation that was going on where he was talking about Will Smith and them owe him money and all of that back in the time before Will Smith slapped anybody. He probably should have went over there and slapped Tyrese off these medications.
Every bit of it. Okay. Will Smith is gonna give me $5 million. I never even talked to Will Smith. I was out of my mind. They took my baby from me. My firstborn, 100 days. I ended up paying for an airplane. I knew what time my daughter went to lunch. There was no contact, no nothing. I could not get access to my baby. So I ended up paying for an airplane to fly over my baby's school. And it flew over her school during lunch because it was my only way of getting a message to her. Daddy loves you. Shayla, Daddy loves you no matter what. And I told him, fly for 2 hours over her school. So she went out to lunch after no calls, no contact with her dad. Worried about me, as I found out later. And she went out to the play area and looked up. And my dad never violated the court order because they didn't put that in the court order. They said no calls and no contact. But they didn't say you couldn't fly a plane over the school. Motherfucker.
Wow.
I'm going to get this message to my baby. Shayla, Daddy loves you.
Sometimes I feel like when people are overly, when they overly act on certain things, it kind of come across as insincere. But at the same time, you have to do whatever you can do in order to show the things that you really feel. To me, it kind of can come across as insincere, but
it didn't come across as insincere.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, do what you gotta do. That's his daughter, you know. She will always, if that really happens, she'll always remember that.
Yeah, eventually she will.
And she'll expect that, hey, if my dad treats this how my dad treats me, any man that really loves me, that's how he should treat me.
That's right. You got to fly a plane over your house where you can get back in good graces with him.
Well, certain
daddies. No matter what, y'all can Google it. It was all over TMZ. They had a picture of the damn plane flying over the school. Yeah. So after I got my baby back, depositions with Samantha by herself, with me, full trial, psych meds, out of my mind, crying video. I filmed the video, uploaded the video, and the video was on the internet for 3-4 months before the psych meds was finally out of my system. So imagine being the butt of every joke, memes, all your homies' friends, people that ain't your friends, clowning, joking, using your emotional psych med meltdown as the butt of their jokes. And guess what? Because I'm a bit of a troll myself, I would have probably been clowning the motherfucker too.
Yeah, you troll. You know, like you're saying, that's just
so it can tear you up. But just think about like a lot of like I remember on blood pressure, I got one medicine that make you pee a whole lot. So the smallest little tablet can do tremendous things in your body. So you always gotta be careful about what you putting in there. We don't know. We be doing all kind of stuff all the time.
Hey, listen, I didn't like that I was on the receiving end of the jokes from my meltdown, but I'd have definitely been clowning too, whether I know the nigga or not. But at the end of the day, if you ask, what do you think caused the strife and the energy? I think there was a particular wear and tear that worn on her. Because now, as much as I can look at this through the lens of Samantha, I was fucking miserable. Yeah. And I've been dealing with baby mama drama for 16 years. Right. She just got here. And the level of baby mama drama that this shit went to, even I did not ever experience that level. I mean, that shit was evil. Going through financial traumas.
Child custody court is pretty.
Well, you always pipe up when those topics come up.
You do. Like they monitor this guy. They have to monitor him. Like that's ridiculous.
I personally,
3 months.
You walked in here, Tyrese, today, and you said that we were family.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you walked in here today, Tyrese, and said that we were family. And
Tyrese must have been going through it. I mean, not Tyrese, but Sway. He must have been going through it too.
Yeah, custody, it's no joke.
Yeah, I believe it.
I appreciate you saying that to us, and I personally want to apologize because I had no idea you were going through all of this. I had no idea. Like, I have brothers, I have a husband, you know what I mean? My father passed away, but I grew up with a father in my house. Yes, so I'm sorry, that you had to deal with all of this, you know?
I honestly, I'm gonna thank you for saying that. Give me some thank you. I want to just say to y'all, listen. The Lord Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior.
Amen.
And there are people who ain't been through nowhere near as much shit as me. And they're suicidal. They're in a mental health facility, ramming their head up against the wall. They on lithium, whatever. It's so many more levels. And so what's really interesting about what the hood taught me, South Central LA Watts, although it was hard, everything that
it sound like hard times.
I seen and experienced and went through when I was in the hood prepared me for this real life shit.
Yeah.
It's some shit that if I didn't, like, there is no greater school of life than to live and experience all things hood. Murder, prostitution, drugs, crack cocaine, heroin, excessive force. I was there in 1992 when the Rodney King shit went down. I was in the riots. I was looting. I had the fucking military trucks in the hood keeping us locked down. I've seen and lived some shit. I would be playing basketball with one of the homies on a Wednesday. He'll get killed on Thursday, and these niggas expect me to go to school and focus on algebra. I'm fucked up. I'm a child.
That is wild. Like, a lot of people do come up in these kind of situations. And like I tell my wife all the time, when you go out this house, you have no idea what the next man has experienced or what they're going through. Tell my children the same thing. So you do your best to be kind, to be polite to people, and you never know. Like I tell my kids all the time, those kids don't all come from a place like where you come from, where they might be getting whooped on or any kind of thing at their house. You don't know.
I think I've been exposed to some real shit. My mama was an alcoholic for 27 years. May God rest her soul. Father was an alcoholic and a crackhead. I'm the first millionaire in my family. I'm the first singer in my first movie star. I got 10 billion in box office receipts on my name. I'm one of one. I am from the hood, but I'm not of the hood.
Right.
So, Sway knows. Top Ramen was dropped off many days from Sway. Me and Gail Atkins, who discovered me, I was just telling Paul Stewart this. Gail worked at Priority Records, the woman who discovered me, and she used to steal CDs from Priority Records. Not anything that was for sale. I'm a fly, handsome nigga. You think my level of confidence, swag, and stature, when I walk in the room, homies want to be like me, and women want to be with me. Do you think after being on psych meds and having a video out for 3-4 months and not even knowing it was out there, I did not know the fucking video was out there. I was gone. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I've never been high in my life. When I can't sleep, I take an Ambien to go to sleep, and I'll take a 5-hour energy drink to stay up sometime when I ain't got no energy. I've never popped a Molly, X, Percocet. I've never drank red or white wine or Heineken, nothing, ever in my life. Why don't I drink? Oh, that's cool. It's not cool. I don't drink because everything about drugs and alcohol fucked my life up throughout my childhood. Everything was out of control, so which made me a control freak. So I'm not successful because I work hard. I'm successful because I've worked hard as hell to be the opposite of everything that I grew up in and around. And these are the fruits. So for someone who doesn't use drugs, you put some shit like Rexulti in my system, it's going to have the worst adverse effects ever. So I'm online.
And I would say this as well. You know, I hadn't always been a driven man that way, but I do know that like when people are driven to the place where they can get successful, it is definitely hard on the people around them, and that's what that ruins a lot of relationships. A lot of people that you'll see that are hyper successful, a lot of them have multiple marriages and they have bad relationships with their kids because it's really hard to balance the two. It's hard to be great and to be a family man at the same time. It is very difficult. But you know, I've experienced a bit of it recently because I've walked into more of my greatness recently. It's stressful on my family. But you know, we're working on it and we're making it happen as we expect everybody else to.
That's right. And I think a lot of people now are trying to show us, like, that's why I like Pastor Darius so much. That's why, you know, and even T.D. Jakes or Sarah Jakes, her husband, like they're trying to we have more people out here now that's trying to say and trying to show you that you can be successful in every facet of your life. You really can be. And you don't have to, but like you say, and like my post today is, you got to be willing to do the work.
That's right.
That's just the thing. Is like you got to be willing to, almost like Kobe, you know, like he would fly back to be at his daughter's stuff, but he was also one of the most, if not the most, hardest working basketball players ever that we've known to exist. Maybe next to LeBron, but I almost think his work ethic probably was even more than LeBron. I don't know.
Well, his coach, I think his name's Tim Grover, trained him and trained Michael Jordan, and said Kobe Bryant easily outworked Michael Jordan. So, you know, he didn't achieve what people would say the heights of Michael Jordan were, but he probably definitely outworked him, and it probably, with how well LeBron's home situation is, and there's never no scandals about him and all of that. I can almost guarantee that he's not.
He's a hard worker.
He don't work as hard as Kobe. At least not at basketball.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean, I never talked to Wilson.
Maybe everywhere else as a man.
I think LeBron. I think he gets it that like basketball is it's not everything.
Yeah, it's not everything.
It's not everything.
And I still haven't recovered from the damage that I did to him and his family. They didn't deserve them phone calls. I still haven't recovered from announcing that Samantha was pregnant when she wasn't at the time.
You did say that.
I did. Everything that was happening, I was out of my mind. But then I go back and I look at all those posts, and it's crazy how often I was quoting Bible scriptures. I was operating vehicles on psych meds. So that saying, Jesus, take the wheel, he did. Because your brother that's sitting right here could have been in jail for vehicular manslaughter and been able to say that I was on psych meds. That's why I ran somebody over. But God covered me even when I was out of my mind. Now, let me tell you what I learned. And God bless Samantha for having to go through that, because she never asked for that, nor did I. So I can say that's my long answer. But I would tell y'all something that I learned. What did you learn from it all? And how did you become a better man on the other side of all of this shit? I'm going to tell y'all something, man. My mama, rest in peace, said to me, you're a marked man. God has marked you. Even if you go above and beyond to fuck it up yourself, that favor and that oil is on you. And you're going to always get to the other side of everything. You know how many near-death experiences I had? How many times I would go somewhere, hit a corner, go walk into a liquor store, come right back to that same corner I made a right at, it'd be 12 cars piled up, people hanging all out dead. How many times God said, leave the club right now, I'll pull off in the club, get shot up, big-ass fight break out. You know how many near-death experiences I've had? Something about what I carry and what's on me allows for me to always feel like God's got me.
There you go.
And the only connection I can make, never said this publicly, but in the Bible it speaks that there's life and death and power in the tongue. Be careful what you say. Be careful what you say. Be careful with the things you consistently talk about. Because
I agree with that. You know, we regularly speak about that as well too. You know, that's one thing I get on my wife about, Christians and stuff like that, as far as that is, as we oftentimes, we be reading stuff and we just say and do whatever else we want to do. We make it what we want to make it, but it's consistency that makes you powerful. You are what you consistently see, and you are what you consistently do, and you are what you consistently say. So you should always make sure what you're saying is positive things about yourself and your reality and the things you want to happen.
And about others. I mean, like what he's saying, like we've had so many incidents. Like for him to come out and say this about this drugs and what it did to him. And we lost the dancer. We lost the Green Ranger. Like we as a people have to get to a place to where you watch who you put your mouth on. Because you don't know what people are going through. Like all these people that did all these memes and said all these things, like deal with yourself first before you start putting this stuff on someone else. And, you thank God that he's still in his right mind. And I think Tyrese does know that it's nothing but God that he's in his right mind. Like he said, Jesus had to take the wheel. But I think we as a people, we have to stop putting your mouth on people. Like, I was telling my son the other day, my mom told me if I can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. I'll just walk away. Because you just watch how you put your mouth on folk.
There you go.
You're inviting that energy and vibration into your life. I had a song called Shame.
Oh, yeah, great.
#1 for 16 weeks on Billboard.
Fantastic song.
The song was being played hour on the hour. The song was #1 for 16 weeks. The song was called Shame. And I ended up experiencing the most shameful shit I've ever experienced in my life. Shame, 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 shame.
And the shame came.
Shame showed up.
Yeah. Tyrese, man, I want to thank you, brother, for expressing today. I told you.
This is my last interview, man.
Yeah.
I'm happy to cover this.
Yeah, well, I saw that's what it was. That's why we didn't interject a whole lot. I wanted to allow you that opportunity and that space to talk. I always wish you the best. I personally don't like when I see my friends' love lives and these type of things play out in public, but you got to do what you got to do. She has to do what she has to do.
Well, I understand all of that, and we're going to wrap it up with that particular part right there. Shout out to Sway's Universe. Always has great interviews on there.
Yeah, I like Sway.
But, what do you think about the situation overall? And if you had any advice for Tyrese and Samantha Lee Gibson, as she was formerly called, what would you say?
Try to get better from where you are right now. You can't go back.
Could go back.
Shouldn't. You can't go back to what you've done. All you can do is be better and repent and apologize and move forward. So hopefully for Tyrese, he's learned from the past two girls, and maybe this one now he vetted better, but from the other stuff I'm looking at, it doesn't look like it. But I'm hoping that maybe he's doing better in this relationship. and you know, our past deals with a lot. So hopefully he's getting like real therapy now, not just like he says those drugs were no good. Mm-hmm. So hopefully he's getting therapy, and hopefully Samantha's letting him see his baby, you know, and that she's getting better as well, because you got to learn from the relationship and the things you did, and that, like, I sit back and I learn from our past, or how I maybe was, and things that I want to do better, or I don't want to do that no more, or what I should have learned from that, you know, and that's how you get better, I think. So, yeah, that's what I would say.
You know, I'm not a big fan of all this mental health talk where we push people into the arms of these psychiatrists because I know that the majority of what they're doing is trying to push drugs on people and not actually able to heal people from whatever the situation is they're going through. Me personally, I'm more of an internal kind of guy, so I can deal with all this stuff, and I can be accountable for the things that I did and say and my actions. I can be accountable on the inside. I know that not everybody is able to do that, but if I had any advice for people, it would be to always be growing yourself from the inside. Always be trying to do things that make you better on a day-to-day basis. You know, always be reading something enriching. Do something enriching. Try to meditate. Try to work out. Do things that have you focus on what's going on with yourself and your body on a regular basis. That way you always know when something ain't right. I've been through a bout of depression before, and I walked out of it without going to see no psychiatrist, without going to go get no medication. So it can be done. I'm not saying that's the situation for everybody. Sometimes people is really just messed up. I've been very blessed to where I've lived a rather comfortable life. The only thing I've ever had to overcome in my life is comfort. That's all I had to overcome. So I would say to always be working on yourself so that you can always be aware. So you can always be aware of how you actually are supposed to be mentally on a regular basis.
And also, the therapy is for, it is good because there are therapists down here that are not trying to medicate everything. Yeah. You know, and in large numbers, that's what they're doing. But therapy too is because sometimes people don't have the support group. You know, and I think we're very blessed that we have each other. And we have support groups and atmospheres, and sometimes you don't have anybody else around you, and sometimes That's why you should always be building yourself. Sometimes you need to talk to somebody.
Sometimes you need other people. You need the support Sometimes groups. You need yourself. Yeah. But if you ever have to rely on yourself one day, and you ain't been building yourself, and you ain't worth a damn on the inside. Yeah, you ain't read no book. You haven't analyzed your life from different situations. And how are you gonna be? You know, how are you gonna be the type of person that other people should lean on? How are you gonna be the type of person that you should be leaning on?
You know, the book and the things it says, the warfare of the mind is real.
I believe it because I've been through it.
Right, you know,
I've been through it. But you know what saved me?
Is you going deep within yourself.
Always.
How you were raised.
Always, because it didn't matter. Support. Like I tried to lean on y'all and my family or whatever, but what I was going through couldn't be dealt with from the outside. Right. It couldn't be. Right. It didn't matter how much you told me. Right. It didn't matter how much my wife, my father, and my mother, my kids told me. It was just inside, and I just wasn't able to get it. I wasn't able to get it up off of me.
Right. I'm just saying that outside is important. Some people don't have that outside.
I agree that it's important. You know, but sometimes you're gonna have to fight. You got to fight by yourself too.
Right. Yeah.
You're gonna have to look at. You're gonna have to look at. Hey, you know, I got this woman. I got these kids out here. People are depending on me. I can't afford to be out here and be acting like that. Sometimes you just got to do that and pull yourself up.
And you have to know that you have life that's worth living, even if you have nobody out there right now. You know, you have friends, you have something. You know.
Okay, well, we're gonna wrap it up on Mr. Tyrese. Yeah. You know, we dived pretty deep into his situation. We did. You know, I hope the best for everybody that's involved. You know, they got kids and all of that. You know, you don't never want those situations to be bad. Is there anything else you'd like to add to this conversation before we close?
Sir.
Hop on your computer. You comment, you like, and you subscribe right now. You do it right now. If you still here, you better comment, like, and subscribe. Get on your computer, type it up, type up some comments, leave us some comments. We appreciate it. We appreciate anybody that's been here with us this long. Evenly Yoked Television. Thanks to my mom for making those shirts for us. And we're out, you guys. We'll see you next time.